Tenacity, they were the first team to issue a loss actually to Reject back in the group stages of stage 2. They beat them 2-1 on their first map, which is an amazing feat. And they were also the first team to incur a loss onto Crazy Raccoons that we just saw yesterday, right? Crazy Raccoons were flawless in the group stages, but not just one map, 2-map loss against Crazy Raccoons to push it into the final map, best of 5. Zero Tenacity bringing the fire. On the other side, ONSIDE Gaming, they themselves, I feel like have a bit of a resurgence, 4th place from groups, moving into against Gen G, but going the distance, I really think that they've pulled their socks off in that 1-week break last week.
Yep, and now we set our sights here in map number 1. It's going to be randomized here. The first map always going to be domination, but that map itself will be randomized, and it looks like the RNG gods have decided on Burn-In T'Challa.
Burn-In T'Challa, indeed, and it's, right off the bat, we're already seeing Jeff bans off the rip. It's very common to have Jeff bans nowadays so early on because, hey, I feel like we cannot not see Jeff the Land Shark nowadays on the server. Interesting enough, ONSIDE Gaming does have that no ban penalty.
Yep, we'll see if that will translate into anything. But for now, yep, both sides will save the Ultron. A very strong pick here in stage 2 overall, especially with the season 4.0 buff that Ultron got now doing a little bit extra damage to those bonus health characters, as the Mantis will also be banned out from both sides. Heavy emphasis here on the strategist, and that's kind of what we've been seeing in domination type matches, whereas on like Convoy and Conversions, there's a little more emphasis on Vanguards.
Yeah, it is interesting because yesterday on Zero Tenacity, they actually chose to run a 2-2-2 on their domination match against Crazy Raccoon twice actually, and they lost the domination. So I'm wondering if there's a change of pace here, right? They typically used to run one-sided Mantis. Now they've hopped into Ultron. The Warlock bans have come up from both sides simultaneously, which means that your Resurrect kind of momentum can't be executed from that perspective. We'll see what more they want to bring here.
Yeah, Adam Warlock is obviously a very strong hero to pick up, especially on the domination. You can really keep a fight going and just punish someone for investing too many ultimates, where you can just pop the Karmic Revival and just go right back into the fight. And especially on domination and how confined it is, you can easily get yourself back into the fight, and both sides agreeing that this character is just way too strong to deal with, and it's pretty annoying as they will take it away, as ONSIDE really do like to pick up that Star-Lord, and they will do so.
Yeah, it's not common that we actually see a duelist lock-in, but ONSIDE Gaming do just that, probably to hold that Galactic Legends for WDY themselves that has been so tried and true. So much aerial domination and pressure that can come from a good Galactic Legends. That's typically what we see them work. And I think in the past, at least for ONSIDE Gaming, we've seen them run 2 strategies, the classic 2-2-2 during a domination match. They like to run the off-meta compositions. You can already see SGB plus Rebirth hovering around the Rocket Raccoon plus Ultron combination, which, if you just think about 2 strategies, it shouldn't work, but they made it work against Gen G yesterday.
Yeah, they do in fact make it work, as both these teams looking to set up on both sides, using the Rocket BRB to give everyone that bonus HP. As we do set ourselves up for the first best of 5 here in the lower brackets. The first lower bracket match between Zero Tenacity and ONSIDE Gaming, the Korean Derby here, as we slowly but surely wait as the gates open up, and we are well underway, and we're off.
And we're off indeed. Zero Tenacity opting once again for, their 2-2-2 that they've worked with. No one's running the triple thus far, but I'm sure we'll see a little bit more about that. As this is on your Star-Lord that has been so crucial right off the rip. We see the Star-Lord pick from the side of ONSIDE Gaming bringing so much value for them.
Yeah, and ONSIDE Gaming coming in swinging. Will take an early pick, and they look to take control of the site. For now, WDY still peppering in some shots. But do Zero Tenacity find a way? And no, Kaidia instead offers his life and staggers what is left of Zero Tenacity, and ONSIDE Gaming will fully capitalize and take the site early.
Yeah, Zero Tenacity look a little fractured so far, right? They tried their best to take that right side towards the open hallways, but, were quickly shut out, and despite the likes of their vanguards trying to make a bit more space, there was not too much that they could do with those choke points. So in we go. Now the divers from Zero Tenacity wanting to open things up. CC finding the mark. Great tracking onto SGB. That's the strategist out of the way. No Smite trying to make a bit more action down on the side, and aim will be taken out of action. So hey, control absolutely sees for Zero Tenacity.
Yeah, Zero Tenacity clapped back. I'm a little bit surprised that AIM is playing the Black Widow. That's not really what we've expected. Not sure what ONSIDE are cooking up, but I'm excited to see what they are bringing here.
Yeah, it's a bit uncommon, Normally we see aim on the Phoenix of the Ultron, but they've given that a little bit of space to Rebirth to rock that flying strategist in the air. Perhaps wanting to just see if they can work the Black Widow for themselves, but that'll be only when Jerry high up in the sky to work the magic. Wendy is just trying to hold things back for the rest of the team, while ONSIDE Gaming look for a bit of an entry. It's very chaotic right now. Everyone's kind of scattered as ONSIDE Gaming tried to sneak away the point, but the presence of Kadia on Angela will be made known here.
Made known indeed, as both Ultrons do have the rage. And Rebirth will be the one to use it with XZ, though. It's going to cause a lot of problems. That Rage of Ultron not going to do as much as they expected, as XZ will pick up a double. But AIM also going to find, hopefully, going to be an equalizing trade in the end. No, it's not going to be, as XZ with a triple. Jerry takes away the quad, but it's still Zero Tenacity winning that fight.
It's great holdback right from the side of Zero Tenacity, despite Rebirth popping the Rage of Ultron, and as well as Inhyuk. It's going to be a big stagger for Zero Tenacity, right? But hey, for ONSIDE Gaming, that is, they've got 5 ultimates to have to work with, and that's going to be their in queue to make and break their way. And I'm looking at the Freedom Charge. Inhyuk has been so good with making space with the Captain America out. They have to make a play here.
Yeah, do they want to go in, or do they want to concede and just wait for a different opportunity to go for? But no, it looks like they're going to invest a few ultimates now, but look at the timer. 98, 99, can they make it in? They do, and they will trigger the overtime meter. Inhyuk saving the Freedom Charge, and it looks like ONSIDE might save it. Oh, wait, what in the world is Inhyuk doing there? Saving the Freedom Charge until the last possible moment, as ONSIDE are falling to pieces, but it looks like there will be a trade, though. So I might have spoken a little bit too soon. ONSIDE starting to show signs of life here as the overtime meter runs thin. But can they step foot onto the site? It doesn't seem likely, as it's all Zero Tenacity just crowding around the site, and they need a way in, but it looks like Zero Tenacity might just kick them right out.
Oh, ZC, absolutely disgusting with those tracking. Plus the Galactic Legends applying the necessary pressure to finally shut out ONSIDE Gaming right at that tail end.
Yeah, great showing from Zero Tenacity. Like you mentioned, XZ with an early pick on one member of ONSIDE. That just set the tone here in that first round. The momentum just kept on going. ONSIDE, they did seize control for a little bit, but in the end, it was all Zero Tenacity with the picks, with the disruption coming in from Kaidia, No Smite as well, providing that extra disruption, and just in the back, XZ, Jerry, Dotori, Wendy, they're all just doing their job, as Kaidia and No Smite are just doing the heavy lifting here.
Yeah, a bit of a shuffle now for ONSIDE Gaming, right? Putting aim back on the Ultron that they're so comfortable within, bringing the Luna from the side of Rebirth. So that's a composition and a stick stack that we've more commonly seen from ONSIDE. They obviously have to bring the heat now that they're at the point disadvantage here for domination. Bears down, and we go again. Wendy's the only one right now with a clear ultimate of that Fate of Both Worlds for the side of Zero Tenacity. It's going to be providing a lot of sustain. ONSIDE Gaming can beat them to the point, that is.
Yep, but Wendy, like you mentioned, is the only person that has an ultimate. No one else on both sides, really, not close to their ultimates. Maybe Jerry has the Rage of Ultron coming up very soon, but does he pop it immediately? No, they're going to hold on to it as the mission area does unlock, and the feed lights up blue simultaneously as Zero Tenacity look to seize control early yet again.
So coordinated from Zero Tenacity, right? They basically cut off the rotations from ONSIDE Gaming. They were able to focus fire on the right targets at the right time, and right at the tail end, no smite on that Captain America, doing so much work, so much value that is. And they didn't even have to pop the Fate of both worlds, right? That's how comfortable they are right now. It's gonna be momentum bringing them through on their side, and ONSIDE Gaming will have to fight their way out even outside this choke point. So hey, breaking these walls is important to get a bit more line of sight, a bit more flanks around their opponents.
Yep, Zero Tenacity just playing full zone control, full court press, if you will. As Inhyuk trying to find an opening here, but Zero Tenacity, they're moving as a single unit. No one overextending, no one playing too deep. And that's exactly what we want to see here as Kaidia providing that extra disruption, takes down Rebirth, has the Heavens Fall, but is not going to use it just yet as ONSIDE do invest the Invisible Boundary.
Back onto the side we go, and Invisible Boundary does pop it off, and ZZ with the Galactic Legends finds SGB right off the rip. The Silence Seduction as a counter tries to open things up, but hey, WD does try as well, pops their own Galactic Legends to just smite down No Smite.
Got a trade of ultimates going down, and it's also a trade of players as well. So far, even trade Tuba equalizing the trade onto XZ's Galactic Legend, but then WDY will flat back with the Galactic Legend of himself and will track down Jerry on the tail end as well. But Zero Tenacity, though, still have control of the site. Can ONSIDE take control quickly, or will Zero Tenacity be able to squeak out a little more percentage points before ONSIDE take over?
Oh, I think Inhyuk was frozen in the fate of in the Feast of the Abyss. Now the spin to win won't find WDY, but the trade comes out immediately for aim as now the barrage of utility comes out. Tuba does find the Tory backline compromise a little bit. Back onto the site we go. Has to deal with his Captain America. No Smite taken out. Trade immediately right there.
Yeah, looks like ONSIDE will finally take control here as they do clean up what is left of Zero Tenacity, and now ONSIDE starting to gain some points here as Zero Tenacity will need to regroup. Quick little ultimate check though. It's all in favor of ONSIDE at the moment. No one on Zero Tenacity close to their ultimates. The closest one being Dotary and XZ at 70%.
See, that's what I'm afraid of, right? You've got an Invisible Boundary, you've got possibly the Star-Lord high in the sky popping their ultimate. That's a deadly combination to do because you don't know where to hide. So it's gonna be on Dixie to figure out how to get themselves back in. Ooh, almost overextension. Trying to punish Inhyuk, but manages to get away with it. Onto the chase we go. Lower levels it is. Dixie's got the Star-Lord ultimate, looking to reposition against the side of ONSIDE Gaming.
XZ does have the Galactic Legend available, but I have a feel like I have an inkling that Zero Tenacity are aware of the amount of ultimates available on ONSIDE, and they dump everything here. Invisible Boundary be damned as ONSIDE with the damage buff coming in from Rebirth will just wipe out Zero Tenacity, and ONSIDE look to hold for just a bit longer.
Not too shabby. Oh, they basically have enough ultimates on the side of ONSIDE Gaming to basically stagger them a little bit, right? Start off with the Rage of Ultron in those small zoning areas. That's where that particular Ultron ultimate can provide so much value. They still have oh lord, but hey, beautiful work onto No Smite. Bit of a stagger, a bit of a nice early pick from WDY just to be able to get themselves a bit more percentage points and make it a little bit more risky for Zero Tenacity.
And that does buy a few more seconds, right? For ONSIDE, the stagger for 6 seconds. That's 6 percentage points that Zero Tenacity will have to give up and concede, as there is a skirmish here as the percentage point slowly but surely reaching that 99% mark. XZ opens things up and then pops the Galactic Legend. No one available, no one to counter, no one to shut down. A wild XZ flying to the skies, raining down hell onto ONSIDE as Zero Tenacity looking to complete the 2-0 in this map number 1. The overtime meter is going to be coming into fruition, but Rebirth does have the portal, but can he get it in time? What's the answer? Will be no! A great shove from Dotary shuts down any sort of chance that ONSIDE had to come back in this map 1.
Beautiful flick right onto them. I honestly thought that they had the opportunity to step foot onto the point, but the shove from Invisible Woman pays dividends right now as they're able to have a nice 2-0 clean sweep for domination.
MVP deservingly going over to XZ, going absolutely crazy on the Star Wars. 14 final hits is definitely nothing to scoff at. Almost 17,000 damage in 9 minutes as well. That is a great statistic to see, especially when you know that your star player on Zero Tenacity is online and ready to go.
Oh, 100%. And right up there with Jerry, right? Like 18 eliminations, 18 assists to deal with. I feel like every time the camera panned back to XZ, Jerry's just around the corner to support, right? And they're the ones kind of shot calling, talking to each other, making sure they can focus fire on the likes of AIM, on the likes of SGB to really tackle that backline support that ONSIDE Gaming were unfortunately not prepared for.
Yeah, so much disruption on the side of Zero Tenacity. We talked about it for a little bit. No Smite and Kaidia on the Angela and Captain America just jumping into the backline. ONSIDE did try to do something like that on their own with Inhyuk on the Venom, but unfortunately it was just wasn't enough, as the disruption from Zero Tenacity were just enough to carry themselves over to a map 1 victory here.
Very clean indeed. And hey, if you're ONSIDE Gaming, you had some opportunities there. You start off a little shaky, as we look into the replays. Unfortunately, that first point of domination didn't quite go their way. They really struggled to find their pacing, and then on to the second point, they reshuffled the roles a little bit, putting AIM into perhaps a bit more comfortable roles that the Ultron that we've seen them time and time again, but we're able to push it all the way to 99%, no doubt. But hey, it is the final 100% that really matters, and they couldn't hit the mark there.
Yeah, I feel like the impact ban that did come in, it's Zero Tenacity banning away AIM's Phoenix that we have been seeing work so well on the side of ONSIDE Gaming, and without that key hero that AIM really loves to play, especially going in and just meleeing everywhere, which, by the way, won't be around for much longer. But for now, ONSIDE, they need to stick around because they have a whole best of 5 to work with as we head into Game 2 here in this best of 5. Can ONSIDE find a way to come back? We'll find out in just a few minutes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. 필요할 때 내가 널 지켜줄게. 간절히 바라면 이루어지는 마법인 거야. 운명의 소리 들려. 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와. 시작해야 let's go. 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸는 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야. 좀 더 기다려. 쓰러지지 마. 끝까지 일어나야 해. 어딜 가든지 극복해. 힘은 너에게 있는 걸. 소리 높여 노래를 불러. 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해. 자충을 쳐봐. 어둠이 떠 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐. 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명. 쓰러지지 마. 끝까지 일어나야 해. 어딜 가든지 극복해. 힘은 너에게 있는 걸. 소리 높여
Zero Tenacity drawing first blood here in this best of 5 up against OnSide Gaming here in our first lower bracket matchup here in Stage 2 playoffs. And with Zero Tenacity putting in a commanding victory here in Map 1, puts OnSide Gaming in a bit of a tough situation in terms of map pick here.
Yep, they're in the hot seat. They get to choose between Convoy and Convergence, and right off the bat, we're gonna see Yggdrasil being, one of the most common, one of the favorite maps that people go to for map number 2 to maybe put themselves back into control of this best of 5.
But instead, it's gonna be, it looks like OnSide though are going to pick up Hall of Jalia, the Convergence map here. The other popular choice of map, Yggdrasil being the popular Convoy map, Hall of Jalia being the popular Convergence map. So. I guess you're like half right there, we take it, half credit,
Indeed, and OnSide Gaming gonna have to put their, pull up themselves back up on their bootstraps here. I felt like that last one, they were a bit chaotic. It looked like I'll be, Dan, I will be as honest as I can, right? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They look like they kind of woke up a little bit, right? The first entry onto that first point of domination, they were kind of scattered, and even though their vanguards tried to take space outside those choke points back onto the point, it didn't seem that coordinated, and having their first elimination against them from the side of ZC onto, I believe, SGB or WDY. That's a confidence shaker, and you have to mentally recover from that. This is the time to do that.
Yeah, you set it up perfectly. OnSide Gaming, it just looked like they weren't really ready to get themselves into that match with those early picks in that first round, that first map. It did look. It seemed like they were still waking up a little bit, still trying to find a way to warm up. But now here we go. As blink and you miss it, you're already down a map. And lose 2 more times, and you are finding yourself packing your bags and being unable to proceed here in Stage 2 as OnSide need to find a way coming back here on Hall of Jalia. They do choose to defend first, so big question mark here as to how they approach this draft.
Triple? Question mark? Right off the bat, we've seen a lot of teams when you go into defense for the side of a Convoy or Convergence, a lot of them like to start off with the triple because it's just so much to have to try to break through, right? You have the attackers having attacker respawn advantage, and you want to be able to put up the best and strongest defensive hold right off the rip. So we might see them toy around with the idea. We'll have to wait until things pan out after the picks and bans. Jeff immediately taken off. OnSide Gaming with the Mantis as well as Warlock ban. Guardians of the Galaxy already being penalized.
Although the team up isn't there, the heroes themselves are still a very, very strong pick here, at least in Season 4.0. But something that me and Posh didn't notice yesterday from Zero Tenacity themselves, actually, when it comes to these Convergence and Convoy maps, Zero Tenacity have been targeting Vanguards. They decided to ban they decided to ban an Emma,
yes.
2 picks that are very, very strong on the defensive side. And now with Zero Tenacity being on the attacking side, it looks like they're just not gonna risk putting themselves in that situation where they may need to find a teleport in the dying stages of any of these rounds that they will be playing. So I think Zero Tenacity right now being on the attacking side first, don't really want to put themselves in that situation.
Alright, Zero Tenacity really putting the pedal to the metal here. You see the ban of the Ultron and the Phoenix very targeted towards aim, as well as Rebirth, right? We really try to see OnSide Gaming adjust during that point 2 of the domination match before, and now with these 2 picks, these 2 heroes banned out against OnSide Gaming, it might really put them into a precarious situation. At least they lock in the Star-Lord for the side of WDY. That is probably the saving grace. We'll have to see what else.
Yeah, both teams have been really liking the Star-Lord pickup. I know Zero Tenacity have been using it, letting XZ pilot the Star-Lord. But XZ also has the option to go with the Psylocke, which I wouldn't be surprised to see him pick up here on these Convergence maps. Obviously, with Convergence being a bigger map in terms of surface area compared to those domination maps. XZ definitely could have some room to go for flank plays, but as far as I know, ONG and Zero Tenacity both really liking the Star Wars pickup.
This is crazy. There's not a single Vanguard ban here. There's not a single Vanguard ban here. That is unbelievable right now, coming from both Zero Tenacity and ONSIDE Gaming. They really, maybe really want to focus fire on certain players and their duelist pick, their strategist pick, and they're kind of leaving the Vanguards at free reign. That we'll see if this, you know, bites them in the butt in a bit.
I mean, we were close to having a full strategist picks and bans back in map 1. I think one team did opt to, I think it was ban the Emma Frost, but here, for sure, it is the pickup here as, oh my gosh, look at AIM. Rocking the Black Widow yet again.
Yet again, we'll see if that, you know, didn't quite work out that first point. We'll have to see if that happens again. They're not running for the triple. They only have Tuba on the Venom plus Captain America, hosted by Inhyuk, which honestly has been a great start, a great Vanguard for them to work. But Zero Tenacity, classic, true to form, they're gonna try to dive into this back line with No Smite hopping on to probably the Venom. If I were to guess, XZ's already on a bit of a hunt around this back line, looking for Namor, and AIM's out of action.
Yeah, AIM just somehow got isolated during that entire engage, the entire teleport rotation coming in. But as No Smite jumping on in, uses the tethers to find a trade onto Rebirth. And now XZ though, still on an absolute tear. Kaidia on the side as well. And blink and you miss it. Zero Tenacity are just surrounding the entire first point.
They're just isolating every single fight, and you know, Kadia, XZ, No Smite, all finding their positions at the right place at the right time. And now 5 minutes and 30 seconds for them to continue pushing this objective along.
Yeah, that entire first sight, it just seemed like Zero Tenacity just dispersed, right? They just went all on their own separate ways, and during all that, it's a little bit of a risk if you don't win your 1v1s, but Zero Tenacity, they just won every single one.
They did indeed, and now you called it a full court press. XZ's round the back, trying to hunt for some of these picks, maybe isolate more fights because it has gone in their favor. It's going to be on Inhyuk to maybe suss people out and pull the fight back into it. SGB tries to hold it on, but hey, in the backline, Jerry immediately taken off. Zero Tenacity, you can't be pushing yourself so far forward, Landshark.
Yeah, but in the end, it's still a 1-for-1 trade, right? WDY for Jerry, as Tuba is down onto Puny Banner. But is he able to get himself to transform back in time as the Dance of the Butterfly from XZ is going to be popped? But there is a response here as Kaidia does get taken out by SGB. And now ONSIDE looking to hold for now as a lot of these ultimates have been invested, but Inhyuk will save the Freedom Charge. AIM now has the Horn of Proteus, but XGB still landing the hurt, putting down the damage as ONSIDE looks to hold for now. Yeah.
A little bit egregious from No Smite, you know, going in, diving without the extra support from your teammates. But hey, now you're gonna be able to bring the Fire 5 ultimates on the side of Zero Tenacity, looking to reposition into this little tall tower, open things up. And honestly, they have to work on aim and Namor, right? There's a lot of laser squids in the high ground. As right now, Kadia will find a pick, bit of an isolation, but those gamma bubbles saving the day.
Yeah, great shield coming in from Tuba to keep the Vanguards alive as WDY flying and taking to the skies, trying to find as many frags as possible. Will find one, but Jerry does trade out, but it looks like ONSIDE will look to take control of the convoy yet again here.
He's just so good right now from the side of ONSIDE Gaming. They look a little bit more prepared. They look like they've woken up. They've exchanged a fair number of ultimates for Zero Tenacity. So in the ultimate kind of tick-for-tat trade, not too much to have to worry about.
Jerry got caught a little off guard there as AIM was just mailing his way up the stairs, and then he just finds a random Landshark there. And it's just A little bit surprising, but now, we've seen that before.
Yep.
As Inhyuk tries to take down Jerry, but will not catch it this time around. Rebirth will find Kaidia instead with the force field. As onside, yet again, having the man advantage as Kaidia switches over to the Magneto. Jerry didn't quite find anyone with the It's Jeff ultimate. But Zero Tenacity, though, this is looking good for them. They are looking to push for the time being. As these ultimates, though, on onside is just heavily favoring them right now.
Now the Freedom Chart online, wanting to make a bit more space for ONSIDE Gaming to full court press just a little bit more. Finds no smite, and in we go. WDY just aim training all day, every day right now. Wendy, Kadia drop to their knees. And the time is finally whittling away from Zero Tenacity. 2 minutes still on board. That's a much more comfortable time to have to work with for ONSIDE Gaming.
Yep, onside just have to hold for 2 more minutes. Zero Tenacity making another adjustment. XZ now on the Punisher, but he does have the final judgment. But AIM already positioned up in that high ground, and it's gonna make XZ a little bit more difficult in terms of trying to shut down this Namor, as the invisible boundary from onside will be used to try to keep Tuba alive. Zero Tenacity, though, will find an invisible boundary of their own, but WDY flying and taking to the skies with the Galactic Legend. Every one of Zero Tenacity just cowering, taking corners, using shields to just deny themselves from getting taken out by WDY, and they will weather that storm.
Yeah, if only the horn was safe for that, but it was used a bit too early and didn't find the mark. So back onto this objective we go. I see Jerry, yep, it's the Rage of Ultron, just firing down. It forces out that fate of both worlds. Both dance floors now live, and Z popping the final judgment as well. Trying to make a name for themselves, but WDY, an absolute menace on the side of Zero Tenacity.
WDY just tunnels onto XZ and just wipes out what is left of that Punisher ultimate. The dance battle going in onside's favor. As Zero Tenacity, the time is running short. 40 seconds left here on this push. Do they want to use the strange teleport here? We're not entirely sure, but it looks like Zero Tenacity will decide to make the adjustment. We'll take to the skies this time.
Yeah, not just yet. You know, Iron Man now being swapped on for the side of XZ, wanting to be a bit more of a nuisance in the top side, maybe a bit of a counter against AIM itself. Now Inhyuk will start things off just to be able to hold everything back. KD is going to try to maybe counter that with a Sonic Seduction, but it's just hide and seek right now as WDY gets into that backline, finds a Tori. Wendy's out of action. That's 2 strategists out of action.
Yeah, WDY being in the point-blank range, AIM all the way in the back. Both the duelists of onside just doing God's work right now as WDY hunting down what is left as the overtime meter just forces down to 0 as onside will hold down Zero Tenacity, and Zero Tenacity will have to settle with 1.
Beautiful recovery from ONSIDE Gaming. You know, to be fair, I think mainly me, maybe a little you, but mainly me, I was a little harsh on ONSIDE Gaming, right? They basically gave up that first point for free, right? You know, it's the price of nothing right there. Walks right in, find those picks. Zero Tenacity took that first point at 5 minutes and 30 seconds left on the timer onto the convoy portion of it, pushing the objective along. But ONSIDE Gaming woke up, you know, Tuba back on the Hulk, allowing a bit of synergy with the Namor to counter the flanks that Zero Tenacity were bringing, and they were able to put a very, very great stronghold in this second phase.
Yeah, a bit of a wake-up slap from Zero Tenacity onto onside, and onside will take full advantage of that wake-up slap, and they will lock in and keep Zero Tenacity locked out. And now Zero Tenacity on the defensive side this time around, and they will be rocking the Torch Ultron combo that many teams here in Stage 2 have been using to their utmost advantage.
Yeah, they want to be able to, you know, pry apart the defenses, but once again, I'm looking at AIM on the Black Widow, right? Maybe some offensive support and buffs from the Mantis might find themselves in a couple of nice headshots and picks right off the rip onto those flyers for the Zero Tenacity, but to see if ONSIDE Gaming are able to bring the heat like they did without the wake-up period.
Yeah. If you remember correctly, Zero Tenacity just went in and just surrounded the entirety of onside, but it looks like onside will take a more traditional approach. Will just make their way towards the common angles And Zero Tenacity will just breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief, realizing that ONSIDE aren't going for anything as crazy, anything spicy, as we take a look at what AIM is going, as he's trying to land the long-range shots. But Jerry is just moving so fast and trying to make a hard target for himself.
Yeah, WDY, a bit of a defensive maneuver to protect AIM. Now on the offensive, a bit of a flank position, looking for that back line. The Tori spots them out. The spin to win doesn't find much value, so we'll have to dip and dive out of there. Back onto the point we go. It's gonna be Jerry just creating as much chaos, finding the side of AIM, and that is your sniper out of action. Now the verticality from Zero Tenacity can free reign themselves here. The slam dunk onto the site provide a lot more defensive posturing for Zero Tenacity.
Oh, Rebirth though. Ooh, great shots coming in, but he is going to get traded out by Kaidia in the end, as XZ will shut down WDY, and Zero Tenacity are looking to hold right now against ONSIDE, and ONSIDE looking to stagger yet again, as AIM though staying on that Black Widow.
We are undefeatable.
Yes, the real question, right? Is that really supposed to be the one that really helps them out? Now Rage of Ultron comes out as a response for the solar emergence. Now, oh, big feast for the side two, but they find the back line. Dotori and Wendy out of action. This might be Zero Tenacity's crumbling moment as AIM and WDY find their marks, and suddenly, 4 point cracked wide open.
Yeah, Tuba with the, oh my gosh. Okay, Jerry gets away. Okay, we can talk about what just happened for a little bit. Tuba with the tether, and oh, okay, wait, never mind. I think Jerry just went down. Anyway, unfortunate for Jerry. Zero Tenacity will get staggered a little bit, but Tuba with the tether and the feast combo is just enough burst to take out the two strategists on Zero Tenacity, and they will take full advantage of that as WDY using the spin to win to just break a little bit of that terrain.
Yeah, Tuba eating good so far. AIM still on, you know, this Black Widow. I presume that the idea here is that maybe you don't necessarily need to get the eliminations, but you can just chip away the damage sufficiently for them to have to fall back and consume cooldowns from the strategist side. So we'll have to see if it kind of pans out as Kadia tries to put back into it. Now the Tactical Legends, Kadia's on a bit of a hunt, but the Beast of the Wire
what's going on back there?
now forcing rebirths as well as the Tori's ultimates. Tick for tat. Jerry will find AIM in that backline, and suddenly the feast from No Smite will come out as well to chomp onto ONSIDE Gaming.
Heaven's Fall even going to be invested. XE going back to the Psylocke to try to keep the defense and keep Zero Tenacity in this map here as ONSIDE almost got to that point, almost taking map 2 for themselves, but Zero Tenacity will hold for a little bit longer, but they still have almost 180 seconds to hold.
Yeah, Tuba's got the Feast of the Abyss though, and that was the one that cracked open that first point, so maybe if they can get a couple more, they could make it work, but hey, Wendy's already got the Fate of Both Worlds online, so that's gonna be a big one to counter against the like of a Feast of the Abyss. Meanwhile, Kadia being the absolute nuisance of that Vanguard. I say that with much love, by the way. If a Vanguard is annoying and a nuisance, you're doing your absolute best.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. But XC is going to be the nuisance here, as XGD will get danced on by XZ, as XZ looking to clean up the rest of ONSIDE as they look to scatter and stagger. And Zero Tenacity will hold yet again. Now, one minute gone, 2 more to go.
I mean, it's coming down to it. WDY, bit of a stagger right there onto ONSIDE Gaming. You know, they were looking so good with those individual picks earlier on, but hey, now flipping onto their winning strategy that got them on their defensive hold. Maybe it can work on the offensive as well. Tuba's hopped on, foregoing the Feast of the Abyss onto this Hulk, using the Gamma keep up for their advantage.
Your eyes on Jerry though, has to get Jeff. I think he's in a aggressive position right now, waiting for the perfect time to use it. Can he pull it off though is the big question, as both ONSIDE and Zero Tenacity just still scrapping away. WDY though, he's going into the backline as well, trying to find an opportunity to go in, but AIM and SGB getting taken away. XE with the double. No Smite standing tall on this site, making sure no one gets in. Jerry does get taken out by WDY, but it's all Zero Tenacity with this defense. And now 1 more minute left.
I mean, WDY had the right idea, right? To flank around the back, but it was just a little bit too late. And late was the name of the game right there. Zero Tenacity actually pressed forward and got themselves those picks as and when necessary. Now coming into play here, it's gonna be both circles coming up, the boundaries obscuring line of sight, but Inhale will press forth, has slam dunk, as well as the Sonic Seduction.
Yep, this is the make or break fight here. If Zero Tenacity are able to hold, they take map 2, but if ONSIDE win this fight, they will take map 2 for themselves and settle the score 1-1. And it looks like ONSIDE are going to do just that. They wipe the floor here. Zero Tenacity, no one left on the map, no one left to defend. And ONSIDE will quickly answer back here in map 2.
Indeed, taking their map pick for themselves on the halls of Dajala. A nice 2-1 score for the side of ONSIDE Gaming. You know, maybe I was a little too rough on them, right? But they certainly woke up to their senses. They certainly played like an absolute maniacal unit of 6. And WDY was able to really punch through whenever they were needed. Well-deserved MVP right there.
Yeah, also props to AIM, right? On the Namor, he was just quietly defending the flanks that were trying to come in from Zero Tenacity, like from the likes of Jerry, from the likes of XZ, who were trying to get that backline advantage, backline access. But AIM was just, you know, off to the side, doing the dirty work in the background, the unsung hero in a sense, as ONSIDE will quickly equalize the series 1-1, and now it's effectively a best of 3.
Yeah, basically, we're back to the best of 3. We've got the first 2 out of the way. I gotta think about ONSIDE Gaming and what they've changed throughout their entire kind of map 2 series, right? AIM was on the Black Widow for a fair amount of times, but hey, whenever we move into the Namor Hulk combo, they seem to be able to turn the tides. We saw Tuba absolutely wrecked with those green fists in the backline, opening things up, and then we're able to finally push through at the last 10 seconds of that objective push. And I think that might be the winning combination. I don't think ONSIDE Gaming seem to be fighting this a lot, but whenever we finally fall into that rhythm, they find their rate and pace.
Yeah, now it does beg the question, right? Do they invest bans onto the Hulk to just shut down this Namor Hulk team-up ability that has been really strong? That laser gamma squid thing was just melting everyone that it sees, and it kind of is a little bit of a callback into a past season where Namor did have the ice squid instead, and that was also a problem. And here it's no exception. Now it's just a big green laser just melting your fellow frontline. And now does Zero Tenacity do they have to invest a ban onto it? That's going to be a question as we head into map number 3 here.
Yeah, that'll be quite interesting. You know, Tiba did so much to carry that team, and I'm expecting ONSIDE Gaming to continue their momentum. But hey, it'll be Zero Tenacity's time to respond with a map pick of their own. We go to map 3, but not before this break. Stay tuned. We'll bring more action to your screens before you know it.
Oh yeah, 필요할 때 내가 널 지켜줄게. 간절히 바라면 이루어지는 마법인 거야. 운명의 소리 들려. 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와. 시작해야 let's go. 아득고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나. 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야. 좀 더 기다려. 쓰러지지만 끝까지 일어나야 해. 어딜 가든지 극복해. 힘은 너에게 있는 걸. 소리 높여 노래를 불러. 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해. 잘 쳐봐. 어둠 있다 날래까지. 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐. 어디까지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐 어둠 있다 내래까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 이 세계 운명 눈이 부신 모든 순간들 지켜내야 해 내게 주어지는 꿈꿨던 너와 나 그래 너를 승리와 명예
Welcome back. It is Zero Tenacity versus ONSIDE Gaming, and of course it's myself, Multitudes, with that one Dan. Map number 3 on the horizon. Just gonna say hi to chat real quick. This is Pegasus. Some familiar names like Pegasus, you know, Carl Hoons, welcome. And I'm looking at one of the comments here from Lycan Shi. Stop giving Namor team-ups. I honestly think that was the winning strategy for ONSIDE Gaming there, Dan.
It's always Namor, right? Sometimes it's Frozen Squid, sometimes it's the Laser Squid, and soon enough in season 4.5 we're gonna get a Ghost Squid. So Namor's still gonna be an absolute problem here when it comes to the highest stage of Marvel Rivals. But hey, ONSIDE, we're able to clap back here in map 2, and now Zero Tenacity choosing their third map, and it's going to be Convoy. That is their only option here before we reset in map number 4, and Zero Tenacity will choose Araco.
I mean, great choice, right, for the side of Zero Tenacity. They chose this map against Crazy Raccoons yesterday and were able to beat them on it. So, if anything, it really goes to show the confidence that Zero Tenacity can bring onto the stage here against ONSIDE Gaming, get themselves back the advantage, and hopefully close it out after a while. But hey, ONSIDE Gaming looking like they're fired up, looking like they're starting to be a little more synergistic, you know?
Yeah, map 1, we talked about it a little bit. They seemed a little bit scattered, a little bit still under the weather. But now here in map 2, they have really woken up and are just coming in swinging. And now they put themselves in a best of 3 situation. Both teams with 1 map apiece. And now they just need 2 more each in order to move on. Who will get there first? Who will fall? We will find out soon enough as we head into the picks and bans here on Araco. Zero Tenacity being on the defensive side first, and they choose that as well.
I honestly love a good Araco. I when Araco first came out, I was so happy with the map design. I thought it was very interesting. And as a defender and attacker, there's actually a lot of ways to use those high grounds and teleports to your advantage. And I'm glad we're seeing a lot more of that come out. We're seeing Araco picks come out a lot more because teams are understanding the map a little bit better and able to use it to your advantage. So into those picks and bans we go. Jeff being locked in for the side of ONSIDE Gaming. First Jeff ban that we've seen all day, and the one-sided Emma for the side of Zero Tenacity.
Yep, and this is the exact strategy that Zero Tenacity went for when they went up against Crazy Raccoons yesterday, banning out as many key vanguards as possible to put ONSIDE in a tough situation when it's their turn on the defensive side. And that really has been a very strong strategy that Zero Tenacity have been pulling off, and so far it's been working really well for them. As ONSIDE, though, they are doing the same exact thing as they take out the Strange. Both sides taking out the Strange.
I like it. You know, we've seen the Strange ban, I think, once in yesterday's matchups. It comes true once again. That last minute teleport, not gonna be any use. But and also you gotta take away the buffs that, you know, Doctor Strange has been so happy to receive here for the season 4.0. The Maelstrom of Madness just gets a little bit more output, a little bit more efficacy, and that's precisely why those bans are coming out.
Yep, and now both sides, like you said, no portal, no Groot also for Zero Tenacity. So ONSIDE are beating Zero Tenacity to their own strategy here as they take out more and more of the vanguards. You talked about it, multi-map too. It was all strategists, and now it's almost all vanguards.
It's all vanguards.
It's just completely flipped on its head at this point. But something worth mentioning though, ONSIDE Gaming look to be able to pick up the Phoenix for aim here unless Zero Tenacity decide to ban it out.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh,
No,
okay,
it's just
yeah,
gonna
they
be the
get it.
Ultron, the one-sided Ultron for Zero Tenacity, putting, I believe, yeah, aim back on the. No, sorry, not aim. It's most likely gonna be Jerry on the Ultron if I were a betting man. But hey, I like the lock-in for Venom, right? Tuba has had so much success with the Venom, with the symbiote, and because of that, especially around Arako, where there's so many ledges, so many high ground potentials, getting Tuba in those crevices, into those backgrounds, with the support of Inhyuk, with the support of WDY, they can absolutely put up a crazy fight.
Well, I'm excited for this. Both teams doing a very bold approach in the hero draft here, banning away so many Vanguards. And now how do they play around it? Because Zero Tenacity, they were the ones that kind of kicked off the strategy of banning away these Vanguard picks on these convoy, on these convergence type of maps. So now with ONSIDE kind of seeing what Zero Tenacity did against Crazy Raccoon, they pull off the same strategy for themselves, and now both sides now on equal footing, it seems, as we head in here, as Zero Tenacity looking to defend. And it looks like Zero Tenacity also running the 2-2-2. Or actually 2-1-3, it seems like.
2-1-3 indeed, right? They just want to provide a little bit more strategist healing in the background, but ONSIDE Gaming taking very quick control of the objective, pushing that along down this ramp. It's going to be the first major point of contention, as this high ground is going to be really important for ONSIDE Gaming to commandeer. Zero Tenacity making it very tenacious for them to have to take up, like their namesake, Cuba, and slept on, but hey, pushing the point deep into Zero Tenacity's ground is going to be key here.
Yep, and SGB can just sit pretty on the side, just sit beside Arako as he tries to move that point a little bit further. And Jerry will find a pick onto Rebirth. Aim will go down as well, as the rest of Zero Tenacity looking to hold Arako off at the bottom of this bridge.
Yeah, Aim's got the Phoenix, right? Trying those long-range shots, almost acting like a Black Widow, but those sparks are going to be useful only if people group up. Right now, Zero Tenacity, they're playing kind of fragmented, but they're not overstaying any of their boundaries. They're playing around corners, using natural shielding to their advantage, which means those stacks are kind of nullified. But here's where it gets interesting. This open space is going to be a lot harder to push, and we expect a lot more brawls to come out.
Ultimates are starting to come online as well, and here we go. Exy and Wendy teaming up with both of their ultimates to try to find an early pick here. But so far, no one going down just yet, and that's 2 ultimates wasted, and ONSIDE will stay 6 strong for the time being.
Indeed, they're holding it down. Now it's going to be I believe, yep, the Rage of Ultron plus the Fate of Both Worlds, trying to counter effectively WDY's ultimate, but Aim's just round the corner, lurking in the corner, finds a Tori, cracking open the defenses of Zero Tenacity.
Yep, this is the playstyle that Aim really wants to play on the Phoenix here. Likes to go in and just use the melees that do stack up the spark charges, but then again, once Season 4.5 rolls around, you can't do that anymore, so Aim trying to do what he can to take advantage of this mechanic before it does inevitably disappear. And look at it, it's just going to be auto-cancel after auto-cancel as Aim finds a quick double.
So good right now. No Smite trying their best to hold down the fort.
Yeah, look at
Coming
that.
in with the freedom charge onto all these members of ONSIDE Gaming who just surround him like wasps. And we'll be able to find the mark onto Kadia, the other Vanguard.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Aim, you can see it here, right? Using the flight to cancel the auto animation, or the melee animation, I should say. And it's just able to quickly stack up so many charges, so many sparks, and he just lets them fly. And like I said not too long ago, this is probably the last time that Aim will get to experience this kind of playstyle before it does inevitably disappear in 4.5.
Indeed. You know, ONSIDE Gaming now pushing this along. I also got to talk about the new team that was with, you know, the Starlord plus Rocket Raccoon, a little teleport action that kind of enhances WDY's ability to really lurk around these corners and open up the playing field. Together with AIM, I mean, they're a dynamic duo to be reckoned with. Again, back onto the Gamma team up. But Kadia will start things off on WDY just to open it off. Jeff, now Rebirth, finding that it's Jeff, looking a bit... Can't find the mark, unfortunately.
Yep, so far, Zero Tenacity have been doing as much as they can to defend onside from moving any further, but now we head into this long lane as WDY catches XC off guard, AIM as well in the thick of it, canceling so many melees, using the animation cancels to their utmost advantage as No Smite gonna get taken down with relative ease. AIM also threatening the end Song Inferno, will pop it immediately, but will find Jerry as Zero Tenacity looking to fall back, need to prevent the scatter as ONSIDE looking to secure second point.
Yeah, SGB already had used the Cosmic Yarn as well just to be able to provide that additional oomph towards the point. But hey, stalled at 2 meters. It's just Kadia who can't stand any longer. So it's going to be most likely a clean 2 points going to ONSIDE Gaming with 3 minutes left on the timer.
Yeah, great push coming in from ONSIDE, just realizing that key members on Zero Tenacity were a little bit overextended, a little bit caught off guard. And ONSIDE take full advantage of that as they look to try and complete the triple here.
Yep, they're really making it more difficult for Zero Tenacity to even get this high ground. But as I say that, AIM's gonna go down for their troubles. The resurrection of this, obviously from the BRB, will come out. But hey, XZ says nay nay. Inyok taken out as well. And Zero Tenacity start their re-aggression onto this objective. Jerry hunting for a bit more on the Bucky. That the Kraken implant unfortunately hasn't found too much, but just the right click holding, looking for a bit of a pull. Now it's a bit of a stalemate across these two stick stacks, but we start off with a beautiful one onto XZ.
Yep, AIM just running straight in, just bursts down XZ. Zero Tenacity don't have duelists right now as Rebirth does eat up Kadia and Wendy. And they're just going to displace them for a little bit. Wendy's trying to skate away. WDY chasing it down. And he's going to pop the Galactic Legend. And there's no support available for these two players as they're just going to get wiped out. Shot in the back alley, it seems like, as WDY just lasers them down.
I mean, the laser squids were the only thing that's holding them back for more. Tuba fires back just a little bit. Right, onto the Tori. Oh my gosh, it looks like Zero Tenacity's, their defenses are absolutely crumbling right now. WDY and AIM absolutely collecting names for themselves. ONSIDE Gaming is a train that can't be stopped.
Zero Tenacity, though, they have a lot of ultimates to at least hold off for now. But oh my goodness, the damage with the Cosmic Yarn and AIM's animation cancels just forces Zero Tenacity from gaining any access to the site. And with that Venom getting absolutely bursted down, ONSIDE complete the triple.
Unbelievable, right? We talked about ONSIDE Gaming being, you know, a slow starting ball, rolling down the hill, but hey, they're hitting that 45-degree angle right now. They're chugging along, turning into basically a full-on bullet train. I didn't really see many times where Zero Tenacity put a major halt onto the objective, apart from a few times during that first phase.
Oof. Good looks coming out of ONSIDE as they look to defend Zero Tenacity. Zero Tenacity, they have to match what ONSIDE did in order to force an overtime here in map number 3. And if you remember back in the draft, a lot of these key vanguards have been banned away.
30 seconds before you attack.
So how does ONSIDE look to defend here? AIM still rocking the Phoenix, SGB on the Rocket as well. It looks like the team composition is relatively the same. Tuba and Rebirth using the Jeff Venom team up as well, as Zero Tenacity looking to opt for the Gamma Squid team up that they had a relative success with. And now we'll see if they'll replicate the same here in this attacking side.
I mean, hey, AIM on the Phoenix as well, doing absolute work with those long-range sparks and close-range combo wombos, melee. And really starting to apply pressure onto Zero Tenacity, having pushed their way out of the barrier locks. It's gonna be the thing as well as the Hug. Close quarter brawlers it is to get themselves deep into it, but the counter from the side of Tubas is too much to bear. Finds Wendy, sends them back. CC as well is just collecting name after name. The Land Shark right up there with them. ONSIDE Gaming having the time of their lives right now.
Yeah, they found a pick onto Zero Tenacity found a pick onto WDY, so that's going to be BRB burned from SGB. So there is no revive available for 30 more seconds. As the rest of Zero Tenacity trying to find a way in. The Kraken impact available on Jerry.
Indeed, right? Not having too much impact that we've seen so far, but Jerry will have to make it work as KD is trying to open things up with some Fists of Fury. Aims up top, finding those sparks, finding those marks. Wendy once again, Dotori out of action. It is the side of SGB also popping the Cosmic Yarn. ONSIDE Gaming bringing everything to the kitchen sink right now, forcing Zero Tenacity to have to cower back into their spawn.
Ooh, Zero Tenacity, all of a sudden, they're not looking so hot here in map 3. ONSIDE on track to secure match point. Can Zero Tenacity find a quick adjustment? Can they find the correct answer here to what is an impeccable defense so far from ONSIDE?
Tori once again not having stayed alive too long either, right? Like I feel like every time they come out from the spawn, it's the backlines immediately hassled from the side of ONSIDE Gaming onto Zero Tenacity's backline, and they can't figure out a way to make themselves in. Now it's gonna be the Galactic Legends finding their mark. Jerry opens things up onto Tuba. It's an important one to have to deal with, but Galactic Legends fires back onto ZC.
Yep, 2 go down on the side of ONSIDE though, so those 2 members are gonna have to make their way back onto the site of Araco. But so far, look at the timer, already down to 1:30. And Zero Tenacity looking to finally break through as they finally round the corner. And they need to keep this train going. They need to keep that momentum in their favor, but ONSIDE is looking to end that as soon as possible.
Wendy's got the Fate of Both Worlds popped out, Reach of Ultron as well, just to provide a lot of healing for Zero Tenacity, but it's not enough right now. ONSIDE Gaming just losing numbers just a little bit more. Wendy's got those right clicks onto aim. It's a bit of a revenge arc from Luna Snow. ONSIDE Gaming finding, looking like they have to retreat just a little bit more and give that space to Zero Tenacity.
Yep. And finally, Zero Tenacity showing signs of life here with 1 minute left on the clock. They're only halfway through as the Cosmic Yarn is going to be popped here by ONSIDE, as the rest of Zero Tenacity need to retreat. They need to respect the ultimate and the bonus HP that the Cosmic Yarn provides. They will do so with minimal setback as ONSIDE looking to push the objective, looking to push on forward, but Zero Tenacity, they have a Mega Hulk of their own, but he's going to turn into Puny Banner and will get swiftly taken out by AIM, but Kaidia will trade things with Inhyuk, who does come back with the BRB.
Inhyuk. I mean, sorry, it's AIM looking so good right now. LBY applying vertical pressure, aerial superiority. Jerry's out of action, and suddenly ONSIDE Gaming looking like they can put a very good stronghold. Overtime now triggers. Zero Tenacity has seconds to get on this point.
Yep. It's all gonna be no smite. He's down into Puny Banner. Is there anyone to make their way in? It looks like ONSIDE are just full core pressing at this point as Zero Tenacity. They have no options left. They have to use the minimal worlds to at least step foot onto the site as Exy just can't get into the circle as the Cosmic Yarn might just seal the deal here in map number 3, and ONSIDE will complete the hold. They complete the defense, and they put themselves at match point.
3-0 it is. Beautifully done from ONSIDE Gaming. I mean, they were basically a bullet train during their attack half and then an absolute stonewall on their defense, right? Their players were all in the right time at the right place, but really, it's like AIM. MVP here, absolutely clicking heads and finding those CQBs onto their opponents.
might have been a little bit of a mistake, in my opinion, to allow AIM to play the Phoenix here, especially when we've seen how threatening this character is in the hands of AIM. Able to stay back, able to land the shots from afar, but also being able to go in and just putting down AoE animation cancels and just bursting down so many members. And he was really the difference between ONSIDE Gaming getting 2 and ONSIDE Gaming getting 3. And we've reached the reality of ONSIDE reaching the triple and having Zero Tenacity not even get a single point here. It's just a statement as ONSIDE. Surely they have waken up now.
No, surely. Without a doubt. They're looking like there's ice in their veins. They're running hot. And they're clicking heads, taking names. It was so good to see them really coordinate, like the likes of Tuba, as AIM, and Rebirth, SGB, doing everything they can to support that their front lines and their mid lines, right? And we gotta talk about WDY having that team up, the teleport with the Rocket Raccoon. It was so coordinated, and they were able to stagger their ultimates time and time again, so that their ultimate economy was always healthy.
Yeah. And yeah, like you said, resource management was the name of the game here. As ONSIDE, we're just able to use it perfectly. Most times they won fights without even investing any ultimates, and that's a huge advantage if you're able to win fights with only using a minimal amount of ultimates. There were so many fights where ONSIDE only had to invest 1 or 2 ultimates, whereas Zero Tenacity had to invest so much more in order to just try to fight their way back.
Yeah, it's also interesting because, you know, the strategy from the picks and bans perspective from the side of Zero Tenacity was, hey, we're gonna strip away as many Vanguards as possible, but you didn't take away Tuba's Venom, who was so crucial in the last couple of maps, and obviously extremely crucial here in Araco. So hey, ONSIDE Gaming turning the tides for themselves, looking like they're on fire, like an absolute bullet train. They have the chance to close it out in map 4, which will be coming to a stream just around the corner after this 5-minute break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. 필요할 때 내가 널 지켜줄게. 간절히 바라면 이루어지는 마법인 거야. 운명의 소리 들려. 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와. 시작해야 let's go. 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸는 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야. 좀 더 기다려. 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자총을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을
So we said that Zero Tenacity after taking map 1, we said ONSIDE we're slowly waking up, and I think they definitely had their caffeine kicking in here as they take 2 maps in a row and are looking to seal the deal here in this first lower bracket match here ONSIDE. Only 1 more map away from knocking out Zero Tenacity from the entirety of stage 2.
Yep, there's a sign outside ONSIDE Gaming's door that says, "Do not awaken the beast," and unfortunately, Zero Tenacity have done exactly that. And I am very shook. This is a very crucial map. In the best of 5 series, with 2-1 advantage ONSIDE Gaming, this might be the opportunity for ONSIDE Gaming to send home our first team here in the playoffs, and that is Zero Tenacity. That's a huge, crazy upset in my opinion. Obviously, we'll have to see if that happens, but mind you, Zero Tenacity are the ones who showed us that gods can bleed, besting the likes of Rejects, finding map picks and map wins against Crazy Raccoons. It is this Zero Tenacity we're talking about, and I'd be a fool if I thought that they won't bring the fire here for map number 4 to keep their heads afloat.
Yeah, might as well put a sign on ONSIDE Gaming's side. Beware of dog, because they've got that dog in them. Because right now they're on a hot streak right now with 2 maps in a row. But yeah, like you said, Zero Tenacity, they were able to almost upset some of these top teams here, like Crazy Raccoon sending them to 5, but also ONSIDE also sending Gen G to 5 as well. So both of these teams really have the capability of upsetting, but unfortunately just weren't able to cross that line, as Zero Tenacity now with their backs against the wall in a must-win scenario, and they have to pick this map carefully as the map pool does open up a lot more. If you have been watching these best of 5s for the first time here in Marvel Rivals, after map 3, the options for game mode starts to open up a lot more. You have the option of going domination, you have the option of going convergence or convoy. The only restriction being that you cannot play maps we have already seen in this series.
So back to Hell's Kitchen we go. Domination is the mode of choice.
Ooh, Hell's Kitchen.
For Zero
I like
Tenacity
that.
to keep their head afloat. And I'm thinking, hey, it has to start with the picks and bans of the heroes of choice. And most interestingly, hey, do you still want to leave Phoenix on the table? They went for a very heavy Vanguard ban on Araco, which was map number 3. They left the Phoenix high and dry for AIM to pick up and absolutely womp them on. So we'll see what their game plan is real quick.
Yeah, just a side note. I think calling Hell's Heaven Hell's Kitchen now is actually I think that's hilarious. I think that's a
Oh no,
did
I say Hell's Kitchen?
I think so, but I think it works. It makes sense. Hell's Heaven, Hell's Kitchen. I think it works out.
We're there. We're about there.
Yeah, it gets the message across. You know, we'll see if Zero Tenacity or ONSIDE start cooking in this Hell's Kitchen here. But now Zero Tenacity, if you remember, their only map win so far in this Best of 5 series was on a domination map, the Burn in T'Challa, and now it looks like Zero Tenacity looking to run it back on this domination game mode.
Indeed, right? And nothing so spectacular so far in the picks and bans. We've got Mantis on one side, we've got Jeff on the other. I wouldn't be surprised if, Adam Warlock is a very similar one. Once again, domination is where, both teams try to fight for control over a single objective, which means that momentum is so important, right? Taking away of an Adam Warlock, even a Strange, could mean the difference between 99% and 100 for your team or the opponents. And right off the rip, right, Ultron locked in as well.
Yep, both sides will have access to the Ultron, getting that extra damage down with the bonus health, as both sides will not be playing the Mantis. I wouldn't be surprised if Adam Warlock gets banned out, but Zero Tenacity, they learned from their mistakes, and they will,
there it is,
without hesitation, take away the Phoenix of AIM. But ONSIDE do respond by taking away XZ's Star Lord.
Yeah, I mean, that was basically one of the bigger picks that they had during map number 1. That was domination as well, and XZ just a huge stomp onto them. 14 final hits, if you can recall, back on map number 1. And so that Starlord being taken out and reserved for the side of ONSIDE Gaming, that's a big flip in my books.
Yeah, XZ cooking on the Star Lord, but WDY does exactly the same. And ONSIDE, they really like the WDY rocking that Star Lord, and they want to keep that momentum going. But Zero Tenacity also going to lock the Luna Snow and keep it for themselves as they do ban it away from ONSIDE.
And then the final ban from ONSIDE against Zero Tenacity is, of course, the Phoenix. If I can't have it, neither can you, right? Says ONSIDE Gaming. So hey, it's a lot of very targeted bans and nerfs against key duelists and key players from both sides. We go back to the focus on strategists as well as duelists. Vanguards are free reign. And my eyes, once again, on Kaidia, on No Smite, as well as the likes of Tuba to really make a difference here.
Yeah, but if you look on the roster that ONSIDE are going for, the composition, SGB and the rest of ONSIDE have access to the Adam Warlock, whereas Zero Tenacity, they don't have that luxury. So being able to use the Combat Revival only on one side, and it's on the side of ONSIDE, that might have been a little bit of a tongue twister.
But
it's just a huge, but either way, it's a huge advantage in favor of ONSIDE if they're able to get a banger revival down. That will definitely turn the tides. Like you said, could be the difference between 99 and 100 here.
So off the rip, we're gonna see ourselves a bit of a Doctor Strange action, hoping to cut off some rotation or at least get some intel on the opposing team that is Zero Tenacity. And isolate. Yep, absolutely trying to isolate Kadia right there, but can't find the mark, unfortunately. So it's back into their spawn. And a bit of a reset they go.
No complaints.
I know exactly what they were trying to go for. They tried to find an isolated player, use the Invisible Woman to pull them into the Penny Nest. They almost got it to work, but unfortunately they weren't able to get it in the end. I would have lost my goddamn mind if that worked.
I mean, we've seen that a couple of times. Unfortunately, couldn't execute. It's a strategy that has been used a few times right now. So opponents and team members are starting to be a bit more wary about it as the Vanguards go head to head. A bit of a slam dunk onto Kadia, and ONSIDE Gaming will open things up against Zero Tenacity.
Yeah, the last time we saw ONSIDE on the domination map, they looked sluggish. They looked a little sloppy. But here, it's looking like a total 180 as ONSIDE look to take control of the site first this time around as Zero Tenacity look to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, triple strategies from the side of ONSIDE Gaming. A bit different from what they ran from map 1 as well. 2 to 3 backline healers for themselves, which will provide them a little oomph, right? And you call out the Adam Warlock composition as well. Meanwhile, Zero Tenacity has Jerry, has No Smite, has Kadia back on the Angela to make themselves a bit of a feast in the back line, right? And Inhyuk's doing the same thing.
He's just dancing around, being a little bit of a bug in the wall, but there we go. Great dive to take out XZ. And ONSIDE look to push the advantage, push the objective as they make their way towards the halfway point.
Again, Zero Tenacity looking a little lost so far, you know. They can't figure out when to regroup and hit the site or hit isolated targets in together. WDY on a bit of a hunt, just farming up that ultimate. The Galactic Legends already online, and we'll be able to bring the fight. Maybe not even needed because SGB already taken out of action. They'll probably coup their way back in. WDY popping the Galactic Legends. Cascadia almost got the second.
A great hold for ONSIDE as WDY will hunt down Jerry, who is trying to sprint away, spitting water as he makes his way out into safety. But now, look at ONSIDE. They're just picking Zero Tenacity off one by one, all sides of the map. No Smite is able to find a trade, but it's still in favor of ONSIDE as Jerry popping the It's Jeff ultimate. But Abe also responding with the Rage of Ultron. But now it's all onside, but Zero Tenacity were able to trigger the overtime meter, but can they pile on into the site in time? It looks like they will be able to do so as Exy trying to find something here with the Dance of the Butterfly. Will find one in the likes of AIM, and the rest of Zero Tenacity will follow suit, but look at the revive. Instant karma, says SGB. You take out my team, we're coming right back at you.
Beautiful karmic revival to keep the momentum going back onto the point. We go. No Smite finds SGB. A tick for tat trade though, but No Smite coming up on top. Rebirth out of action. Zero Tenacity falling to the wayside. ONSIDE Gaming at 99%. But Zero Tenacity able to flip the point right now, with XZ doing so much work onto the players of ONSIDE Gaming. Climbing, they'll have to hold this point very well.
There was a world where ONSIDE were able to turn that fight around with the Karmic Revival, but unfortunately it was all Zero Tenacity in that fight. As they breathe a sigh of relief here in round number 1. They're showing signs of life finally. It looked like those past 2 maps, they just looked out of it. And now Zero Tenacity, their turn to hold as they do make it a third of the way there.
Yeah, we're looking at the coordinate attacks right now from the side of ONSIDE Gaming to make it more expensive. They're pushing up a little bit more, and Jade's gonna have to kind of dive and dip away from the chaos of the team fight as ONSIDE Gaming make their way back onto it. The dive from No Smite, looking for a bit of a feast, is hungry for that. Rebirth is a bit of a snack to be taken. XZ follow-ups on suit, and ONSIDE Gaming dismantled.
Yep, ONSIDE. As soon as the fight starts, they have to be forced away back into spawn. And Zero Tenacity looking to chase a little bit, but they do realize that they need to just hold the objective, wait for ONSIDE to play their cards. And now look at this, Zero Tenacity now making this first round a very close affair.
It really is. It's actually absolutely going the distance. We've seen a couple of good aggressive ultimates from the ONSIDE, a bit of a back cap action, but Death Guardian will be right there. Both. Yep, it's a lot of ultimates coming in right now. AIM's got the Ultra, Rage of Ultra, looking for a good time to have to pop it with the Galactic Legends, applies that topside pressure. We've got both invisible boundaries popped within a short span of time as well.
No one going down just yet. There's the SGF, and he will get 2, but it's gonna get traded as Wendy does put the man advantage in favor of Zero Tenacity as we do get to the 99-99 mark here in round number 1 of map number 4. As No Smite will take out SGB with a quick punch to the face as the overtime meter comes to fruition yet again.
Still a brawl back and forth. Vanguard v Vanguard looking for these opportunities. KDS fighting for one. Sonic Seduction to force everyone back. This is overtime falling away. WDY's already got the Desperation Teleport online to pour more people from ONSIDE Gaming onto the site.
Oh my gosh, it's so close, but right now Zero Tenacity have the advantage here. They have the control for the time being, but this overtime meter needs to go down to 0, and they get it done. No one on ONSIDE able to tap a foot onto the point, and Zero Tenacity with the skin of their teeth will steal away round number 1.
I mean, that is ridiculous from Zero Tenacity, right? Considering that ONSIDE Gaming were the first to hit 99%, and then in the midst of absolute chaos, even with the Desperation Teleport coming out from WDY to hopefully get numbers onto the point. I mean, Zero Tenacity get away with murder just because ONSIDE Gaming weren't looking, they weren't they didn't have to focus on the objective.
There's no way we go to a third map 5 here, right? There's no shot. Zero Tenacity, if you're able to secure the second round, I'm going to be in absolute shock. Because Zero Tenacity, they look to come in swinging in map 1, but ONSIDE respond with 2 maps of their own. And if Zero Tenacity do come back with this map number 4 win, it really just sets the tone here as Zero Tenacity looking revitalized here. Looking to come back. Oh, okay.
My heart dropped for a bit. I thought it was it was gonna be a bit of a stagger there, Dan. I was not gonna lie. I think we saw the same thing right there. But yeah, it's gonna be a mad dash onto this point right now. High ground taken, well within control of ONSIDE Gaming, giving the last 4 seconds of this point away to Zero Tenacity. Tuba's on there, tried and true. We'll see if they can make a difference here with Namor by their side.
Yep, onside looking for the Laser Squid team up ability this time around. This is the adjustment that they want to go for. But Zero Tenacity looking to take shelter as onside, gaining all the ground so far, taking to the skies, looking to secure this first point, but there's an invisible boundary, but a great push onto Wendy will send them down to the abyss as the rest of onside take full advantage off of that shove.
A great start right from the side of onside, taking the high ground, pouring themselves off as and when necessary, allowing the strategists to maintain proper positioning and support for the rest of it. So point now converted for the side of onside gaming to be able to start climbing those percentage points. But hey, you got to hit the 100%. That's what matters, and you can't lose sight of the objective at the tail end.
Tenacity cannot falter here just yet. There is an adjustment from Zero Tenacity as well. XZ rocking the Punisher this time around. Already dangerous as well. Here comes the Horn of Proteus, but it's going to be countered in the nick of time thanks to the invisible boundary as XZ will shotgun down Enhyuk, who got trapped by the group wall. Puny Banner also going to be triggered, and it looks like Zero Tenacity looking to clap right back.
Yeah, we've got now Groot, no smite, just holding those walls. Double shields is Zero Tenacity's aim of the game. They've got pokes on pokes on pokes, and KD and ZC will be able to clean up shop after taking the point within their control. And Onside Gaming is going to have to try and figure out what to do next, because the game plan for Zero Tenacity has changed, right? They've got double shield, they've got long range poke, they've got Jerry on the Bucky, able to make some pulls to isolate fights on the side of on the side of Onside Gaming. So that'll be the aim of the game here.
Game is to make it all the way to the 100% mark as Zero Tenacity looking to hold for the time being. As Tuba just dancing in and out of danger. And look at XZ popping the Executioner. Can he find the judgment he needs to bring his team to a map for victory? It looks like it might just be that as SGB popping the Karmic Revival, countering what XZ did. But can they pick up the pieces? Can they find the comeback fight here?
They're pouring out after the Karmic Revival, the Incredible Hulk doing as much as they possibly do. And it's gonna be the Strangling Prism plus Jerry absolutely disseminating the side of Onside Gaming.
Yeah, great combos coming in from Onside, acing out Onside. Zero Tenacity looking good here to force a map number 5. But what do you have Onside? They're gonna switch over to the Ultron Torch. Now they're just gonna go right back to something else. AIM going to go over to the Hela to team up with this Venom. And look at this, 85% as the turret is going to be zoning the rest of Zero Tenacity here in Onside. What do you have here? Can you force a series win, or will Zero Tenacity force a map 5?
WDY doing their best to be a nuisance, a fly on the wall just to be able to distract the side of Zero Tenacity. Right now it's overtime for them to be able to force it into a map 5. They have to stay alive here. Kadia doing their best, has the Meteorium looking for a good opportunity, looking for picks as they dance around this site. No smite going in for some support onto the rest of the team here.
Oh my gosh, look at the meter. Oh my god, it got so thin. But Zero Tenacity looking to hold. Oh my god! How did they not make it in? Wait, what? There is no way. How did Onside slip up like that? It might have been a C9 on their part. And Zero Tenacity, in a shocking way, will force a deciding map 5 for the 3rd time in stage 2.
You can't see my face right now, Dan. But my mouth is on the floor. I cannot right now. I cannot believe what I just saw. Unbelievable.
How? I'm at a loss for words right now. I don't know how Onside screwed that up. They had so many people on the site. I thought there was at least one person on it.
It comes down to a lot of communication and someone keeping an eye on the prize, eye on that yellow bar timer up top, and that's where Onside Gaming failed to do it, not just once but twice, right? This was supposed to be a bit easy for them, right? For both points on domination. They were able to start things off, start climbing in percentage points, but it was them kind of losing steam just a little bit. Zero Tenacity came in with some great action of their own, and by sheer unluckiness or perhaps distraction, ONSIDE Gaming weren't focused on the objective.
ONSIDE Gaming off of a crucial error. Will it come back to punish them is going to be the question here. I'm still in absolute shock here as we are forced to go into a map number 5. And oof. I don't know how we feel about this as ONSIDE. That could have been a soul-crushing moment here. Does that throw them off here in this map number 5? Zero Tenacity have all the momentum now.
I mean, if there's anything like, you know, the first map, which once again Zero Tenacity was able to pick up in domination, looks like that's what they feel most comfortable in. This was also their map pick as well. And ONSIDE Gaming were able to come up with a bit of a response after the map 1, so we'll kind of have to see what they bring for map 5. But hey, you have to lock in. You can't do small silly mistakes like that, and it was their opportunity to close things out nice and neat in a bow, 3-1 against Zero Tenacity. But now unfortunately it's all tied back up, 2 for 2 for both sides. It is the final life-changing map on the horizon here. One team will win and one team will be sent home packing out of the playoffs, and that'll be just round the corner. Dan, don't go anywhere. We're in for a crazy fight of map number 5 after this break.
누워진 방바늘을 가로질러 Oh yeah, oh yeah. 필요할 때 내가 널 지켜줄게. 간절히 바라면 이루어지는 마법인 거야. 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와. 시작이야 let's go. 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 순간 신비롭게 기다려 I'll be there. 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해. 어딜 가든지 극복해. 힘은 너에게 있는 걸. 소리 높여 노래를 불러. 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐. 어둠이 떠 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐. 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명. 어둠이 떠 날 때까지 세계 운명. 오랜 시간 간직해온 열망 까만 밤의 빛처럼 빛나. 네 눈앞에 바로 어떤 나라. 제발 딱 봐도 superstar. 딱 보면 모르나. 널 지킬 나란 걸 더 지켜볼수록 점점 빠져들어 카리스마 넘쳐 흘러 oh yeah. 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와. 시작이야 let's go. 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야. 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there. 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해. 어딜 가든지 극복해. 힘은 너에게 있는 걸. 소리 높여 노래를 불러. 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐. 어둠이 떠 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐. 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명. 눈이 부신 모든 순간들 지켜내야 해. 내게 주어지는 꿈꿨던 너와 나 그래들의 승리와 명예 The weight of
ONSIDE Gaming, more like offside gaming, with a crucial error, forces us into a map number 5. as Zero Tenacity, with some crazy luck, have made their way here. And how are we feeling with the third map 5 in Stage 2 playoffs here in Asia?
Firstly, you stole my joke. Thanks, Dan. Secondly, this is.
Hey, I was the one going in. I had to do it. I mean, shout out to Posh. Shout out to Posh. He was the one who made that joke, and we had to relay to you guys.
Yeah,
so
as well as
make it
Exorcist from
interesting.
chat. Thank you so much for your suggestions. We are looking at chat, so please keep them coming. Please have the vibes good. But hey, within 2 days, 5 series thus far, 3 of them, more than 50%, have ended up going the absolute distance, and that is fire. We are in here for Marvel Rivals Cinema, and that's precisely what we're getting, going the distance here. And honestly, that was ONSIDE Gaming's map to lose. They start off so strong twice on each point of domination. They had the opportunity to put Zero Tenacity away for good and leave their mark here in playoffs and continue their dark horse run. But nay, we had to go the distance. Zero Tenacity with, like the namesake, right? A lot of tenacity, to be honest, to really dig deep and push the distance. So now we're into Spider Islands.
Yeah, I think Spider Islands is a great map to end on in this series. I feel like almost every time we've been on Spider Islands, we either get a landslide victory or just an absolute slugfest. But now it's gonna be a big question mark as what is the mindset of ONSIDE Gaming right now after making that crucial error not once but twice in that 4th map.
I mean, what's the
That's
mindset?
gotta mess with their brains a little bit.
The mindset is to take away Adam Warlock. That's an obvious one for themselves. They're gonna lock in the Ultron. Spider Islands, the floating map that we have here in the map rotations is plagued with a lot of rooftops, a lot of rooftop access, and even though you're not a flyer, you can basically rooftop hop your way up into a lot of verticality, and that's the name of the game. We're going to see a lot of that. And therefore, we're going to see a lot of players choose heroes that are trying to counter that. Ultron is a very common one. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot more Angela here too.
Oh yeah. Another flying character that could benefit any of these teams. We've seen Kaidia rock that Angela a lot in this entire series so far. And Zero Tenacity, though, still will not make that same mistake again. We'll keep that Phoenix away from AIM's hands.
Indeed, Phoenix out of action. Magneto also being used by the side of ONSIDE Gaming to ban against Zero Tenacity. I mean, I think that's very fair. Zero Tenacity, the Magneto has been so good. Kaidia has had some great plays with it. But to be fair, Kadia's hero pool is really quite deep. We've really seen them on a whole lot. And therefore, okay, taking away the Emma as well is that target against Kaidia. But Angela's still on the table, Cap's still on the table. This Vanguard ban, I don't know how effective it is.
Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. Because ONSIDE, they are on the attacking side first. But I guess, I'm assuming they don't want to ban away the Strange. And they want to just get rid of these Kia Vanguards that could be the difference maker here with the Emma Frost, with that lane control, with the Silent Seduction being an absolute threat, especially here on Spider Islands, and Magneto just being a very strong Vanguard overall with the bubble, with the screen, just providing so much insurance to deny and counter some of these key ultimates.
Yep. I mean, the fact that ONSIDE Gaming have both the Star-Lord plus Magneto means that, that Galactic Legends just has a bit more firepower, and if Zero Tenacity pop theirs, it can be, quickly countered by a Meteor M that ONSIDE Gaming could bring, if they choose to even rock it. So we'll have to kind of see once the timer runs out and the barriers drop. But hey, Zero Tenacity, ONSIDE Gaming, 2 for 2 right now is that scoreline. Going the absolute distance here, Dan.
Yeah, this one goes to 5, and this is only the third one. The third best of 5 series that went all the way, where we needed all the maps, all the rounds. And that's just setting the tone with how competitive this entire playoffs has been. And I wouldn't be surprised if any of these other matches go to 5, especially here in the upper bracket. But we got to start here in the lowers. We do need to say goodbye to one of these teams. And they have to end, one of these teams will end their run on this very map.
All right, Zero Tenacity rocking the triple for the first time today, holding the defense for themselves. Kadia on a thing that they have been quite effective on as well. So we'll see how they put up a bit of a stronghold play, trying to be peppered around by In-Hyuk as well as Tuba with those dive vanguards from ONSIDE Gaming. No, they've understood the triple. They've actually changed their way. They want to not to be able to dive. They need to break through. What happens when an unstoppable object meets an immovable object? We're about to find out.
Yep, here we go. This de-engage coming in. No smite. And Kaidia going right in as Abe gets taken out swiftly. And now the man advantage with Zero Tenacity. They're looking to hold the defense for a little bit longer.
I mean, great isolations, right? No Smite already finding so much value with the group to be able to take out aim on their turret form and force the rest of ONSIDE Gaming back into the spawn. You play around these corners, you play around the natural defensiveness of the map, and that's how Zero Tenacity has just so much survivability. We've seen a lot of teams play triple around this corner and do an absolute chokehold.
Yeah, that's exactly what Zero Tenacity are looking to do as ONSIDE. Using a lot of their resources to try to break through what is the defense of Zero Tenacity. XZ with the Cosmic Yarn, No Smite, and Wendy also teaming up to use the Strangling Prison with a stolen Invisible Woman ultimate. And it looks like Jerry will look to take over as Zero Tenacity will also hold ONSIDE for just a bit longer.
Yeah, Wendy's rocking the Loki, right? Which, honestly, not the hottest pick right now. You can tell from the picks and bans that Loki's not necessarily banned anymore. But hey, the sustainment of these invisible boundaries can still prove very useful. Now I'm looking at AIM, has the Punisher ultimate. We'll start things off to hopefully open up things on the Vanguard side.
Yeah, good bubble to try to shelter what is left, but Jerry does get picked off. A little bit isolated here as the Eye of Agamotto stuns onto 2. And the 2 members that got stunned are taken out. And ONSIDE are breaking through finally with 2 minutes to spare. And they will finally keep this site moving forward.
All right, not too shabby indeed. Right, the triple still in play here. Jerry's on Magneto is the Doctor Strange, my apologies. So we'll teleport in, trying to put a bit of a stronghold around this corner, using the housing and the natural environment for their advantage as ONSIDE Gaming bring the fire back in.
Oh, Kadia gets absolutely bursted. The Lamb's not there in time, but Kadia does come back thanks to the BRB. But Jerry, though, keep your eyes on him. Has the Eye of Agamotto, will find aim, but it looks like he will hold that stun for just a little bit longer. A Strangling Prison onto just Rebirth is a little bit overkill, no?
Perhaps I think so. I think in the heat of things, No Smite is like, let's press that Q. But hey, value perhaps. They only have 30 seconds left. It would have been nice to have it for a bit of a combo wombo perhaps. But hey, the past is the past. ONSIDE Gaming regroup. They have the fate of both will sustain. But with the Meteor M to open things up perhaps. I'm looking at Wendy as well. Loki with the God of Mischief to go to maybe make an invisible boundary play.
Yeah, all eyes are on SGB. Can he time the Fate of both worlds perfectly? Here's Wendy with the God of Mischief. There's the Eye of Agamotto. But a great push going to stun away as AIM comes in. And the Eye of Agamotto as well. But AIM already doing God's work here with a triple. Making a penta. Making a hexa, actually. The first hexa, I think, of Ignite Stage 2. And AIM will take that record for himself.
Beautifully done, right? In the midst of all this chaos, once again, it is AIM who's able to really step up and open things up for the rest of their team. Now positioning on the high ground, a bit of they'll have to do this stronghold position for the side of ONSIDE Gaming. Zero Tenacity still holding on to the triple, but the turret is making quick work of some of these health bars. Kadia is being chipped away so dang low, has to retreat into cover, and just the triple is doing so much for themselves.
Yeah, they still haven't gotten the first point just yet. Zero Tenacity looking to hold. They are just barely able to do so with less than a meter left. But look at the Strangling Prison from No Smite. And 5 go down, make it all 6. as Zero Tenacity, they're going to be able to just barely deny onside of a first point. And onside, they need the defense of a lifetime here.
Time to switch things up.
110 meters. I mean, it's I believe when we were casting, Dan, on the first week of groups, we had a team. Was it Crazy Raccoons put up a
Crazy Raccoons
defensive
against
hold of
Incipients.
like 27 meters or something. It's not that. The 110 is still a bit of room for. Yeah,
it might have been
exactly.
55,
I think
which
onside
is
still has a bit
effective.
of room to play around with. So
Yeah, effectively, it's like, you know, we said that all the way back when Incipients went against Crazy Raccoon. It was just a walk across the street. But
Walk
here,
across the
you gotta
street,
walk.
indeed.
You gotta walk an extra block. So
yeah, a couple of blocks.
still a little farther away, but you know, it's still very doable for Zero Tenacity.
It is indeed. Okay, Eggsy. Toying around with the Wolverine pick. I know some people in chat were kind of waiting for Logan to show up at some point in time, but we'll see once those barriers drop. Onside Gaming looking for once again a triple defensive hold. Bit of a similarity, almost copying what Zero Tenacity brought on their defensive side with Groot, Magneto plus Doctor Strange to hold down the fort. But more importantly, they do have the Adam Warlock. That's the major difference that they have to continue their momentum on their defense.
Will that be the difference is the question. Will that Comic Revival be the difference between Zero Tenacity taking over the series? Or does Onside look to have the hold of a lifetime? Miracles can happen here in stage 2 as XZ takes to the skies with Inhyuk, and Inhyuk gets taken away off the rip.
Oh, and the great work right now coming from Zero Tenacity, right? XZ's harassing the back line, and honestly, Tuba and WDY overstepping the boundaries just a little bit more. Zero Tenacity wiped them on the floor, and now it's gonna be, it has to be a portal coming in hot. Wait, whose portal is this? This
Yeah,
it's
it's Inhyuk's
Yep.
portal. Here they come as Kaidia is still twirling his finger to try to get a counter portal down, as there is just an absolute mess going down in the point, but it looks all to be Zero Tenacity as they look to push on forward, and this is very, very scary if you're a fan of Onside Gaming, because you don't have much time to work with. You have no room for error now.
You really don't. I mean, we're already halfway. We're at 55 counting meters towards one of these teams being eliminated, and so Onside Gaming need to be able to scramble their way back onto this point. It's a mad dash. Zero Tenacity playing as a team, the slice and dice. XZ's hiding around the corner for a nice kidnap and finds their mark onto the side of Inhyuk.
Oh my god! Through the healing from Revert's invisible boundary, it's not enough to keep Inhyuk alive. WY and AIM are gonna follow suit. Everyone dumping their ultimates. Zero Tenacity off a crucial error from Onside in the past map will take over and decide to move on to the lower bracket and kick Onside out of Ignite.
The Sharknado was so poetic right at the tail end on the side of Zero Tenacity. They push past that 110 meter mark like the couple of blocks that we talked about, and they stay alive here in the lower bracket finals, the lower brackets.
What a series this has become. Onside Gaming looked to have all the momentum after map 3, and then map 4. They made those two crucial errors, not able to find a member on the site, and the overtime meter just goes to 0. This was in map 4, and they've done it twice, which forced this, which put us in the situation of having Zero Tenacity being able to play an extra map, and Zero Tenacity will take full advantage of the errors that Onside have made. And Onside, you got a feel for them. This is gonna haunt them for at least throughout the near future.
I believe so. You know, it's really painful. It's a tough pill to swallow if you're Onside Gaming. But hey, Zero Tenacity played with absolute tenacity as well. You look at the way they exploded out of their attacker's spawn during the final bouts of Spider Islands, and they basically played a composition we don't really see a lot of, but is quite particular and specific to Spider Islands, rocking the Wolverine plus the Storm, and those early picks, the early dismantlement of Onside Gaming as we bring you these highlights. It was... I felt like at no point in time Onside Gaming were able to reassemble themselves on the defense, and those final moments were the same as well.
Yeah. ONSIDE. We definitely brought it up before we went into this deciding map 5. Did that map 4 mess with their minds a little bit? It might have lowered the confidence. It might have caused some heated moments in the comms, probably, as now it's going to result in ONSIDE being our first team to be knocked out here in Ignite playoffs here in the Asia region.
I mean, it's such a shame, right? ONSIDE Gaming had a lot of potential. We saw them rise up to 3rd place in Group A's during the group stages, investing the teams like, Assemble Fire as well as U-Wings, and unfortunately at the very tail end couldn't quite find the mark here. They lost against Genji despite putting a spectacular performance against the Korean team. But now in the lower brackets, round number 1, having a few slip-ups here and there, right, wasn't to be. They found their momentum during map 2 and 3, and they found the likes of, Tuba as well as AIM, WDY really stepping up to the plate and finding the momentum on those convoy and convergence maps. But when it came back to domination, I felt like that was their weak spot.
Yeah, Zero Tenacity, 2 of the 3 maps that they won were on domination. The first map, Zero Tenacity won, and then the 4th map on Hell's Heaven, it was Zero Tenacity again, and Zero Tenacity finally able to break through and finally take a map that wasn't on a domination. So props to Zero Tenacity for staying tenacious throughout this entire series. After that map 1, it looked like they were all but done, because those maps 2 and 3, it was all ONSIDE. They were looking dominant in those 2.
They really were. They absolutely were. And it takes, it's you can't say it's their namesake. Zero Tenacity, more like 100% tenacity to be able to dig deep when it really matters and force basically a near reverse sweep against ONSIDE Gaming, right? Like, you get the first one, you lose the next 2, but you're able to fight your way back and throw ONSIDE Gaming into offside. Here's the red card, you're out of the playoffs, and that will be, unfortunately, curtain's call for the losing team. That's ONSIDE Gaming. Korean squad will have to bid themselves farewell here. It's a bit of a shame, really. I think you hit the nail on the spot. I mean, it's real heart pain for them.
Yeah, especially with the big mistake coming in from map 4. This was a team that came in through the open qualifiers. They most of these players haven't really played at the highest level before, apart from Rebirth, who was on Crazy Raccoon back in stage 1, but now leading the beat, probably being the captain here for ONSIDE in stage 2. Unfortunately, just weren't able to get it done. But honestly, your first ever big tournament, making it to playoffs, that is still an impressive result.
That is still a very, very impressive result, right? You went against the likes of, Crazy Raccoon, XOXO, Genji, and you held your own, And
Yeah.
I think it's something to be very proud of. And obviously, there's always room for improvement, be it your first or last place within the stage 1 or stage 2 Ignite. And I think there's a lot to be learned. It's still a very young game, and I think you can definitely come back swinging.
Yeah, like you said, still the early stages of Marvel Rivals Esports. This game still hasn't I don't think has yet to be 1 year old. It's going to be very close. It's going to be soon the 1 year anniversary of Marvel Rivals, but still being in the early days of it, there is still a lot more room to improve, a lot more chances to make a name for yourself as the game does evolve, as the scene also evolves. I'm sure there will be a lot more chances for ONSIDE's roster to make headlines and just become a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, but for now, hey, Zero Tenacity, you got to be very proud of the way you dug deep. You find yourself in the lower brackets right now against ONSIDE Gaming, going the distance but winning out in 3-2 fashion. You keep your hopes and dreams alive for being at least top 2 or possibly even the winning team here if you have your Dark Horse buff. And I think, we'll be progressing into the lower bracket quarterfinals and we'll be playing off against the losing team of either XOXO or Reject. So that will be interesting. But before all of that, obviously we'll have an interview with, I believe, No Smite is what I heard, Dan.
Yep, we are gonna get him on the stage very, very soon. As you're slowly but surely get into contact with No Smite here, and there he is. Hello, No Smite. Congratulations on your win. How are you feeling?
Hello, I'm No Smite. I'm feel so very good. Yeah.
Very
I'm
good
happy.
indeed. Of course, you have to be very happy after beating
Yeah.
ONSIDE Gaming 3-2 and staying alive in the lower brackets. No Smite, I have to ask you, what was your favorite moment in today's match?
Of course, my favorite moment was last game, first point defense at the end.
Yes.
Yeah. That point I was very good. Yeah.
We love to hear that. Definitely being one of the best moments we have seen. Also, another question. Did you expect to go all the way to 5 maps? Did you expect the result of today?
I expected 3-0, but I didn't expect 5 match. Yeah. But it's okay. We win. Yeah.
It's okay. It's the W that matters. It's the win that absolutely matters. It didn't go your way, but you were able to push out the W. Now, looking forward, you will play either XOXO or Reject tomorrow. Do you have anything to say to them?
Our team play five match. Every 5 match, yeah. So think about it. Oh, sorry.
No, yeah, all good. No, you're good. You're good.
I know it's
Don't
not
worry.
easy. That's Mike. You're chill.
Yeah. Our team is always play 5 game. Yeah. So think about it. Yeah. We play long. Yeah.
Yes,
game.
that is exactly the case. I'm sure you guys will be able to do so. Thank you, No Smite, for joining us. Go celebrate with the team, and good luck on your next match. Fighting.
Yeah, fighting. Thank you.
It's great to see No Smite being so happy after that a slugfest of a match going all the way to 5. Like we said, third one going